And good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Tonight is another edition of Darkness in Dublin Vampires, where the artist Monique, I can never remember the last name, is it Courbet?
Yep.
Courbet, is coming to meet Dr. Michael Brightman for planning for the future of the zoo as far as fundraisers and live events and things like that go. So when you get to the zoo, you will see that Dr. Brightman is standing there with his mask with 1,000 faces up, but he's wearing his usual attire, so it's not hard to notice. And you'll see that there is a poodle standing next to him.
Mm-hmm.
The poodle is just kind of looking around. You notice that it is not leashed.
Okay. Will the poodle freak out when I get near?
It'll sniff at you, but no more than that.
So Monique will walk towards Dr. Brightman
Right.
and she
Oh,
will greet him. Good
uh,
evening, Dr. Brightman.
good evening, Miss Corbet. I see that you are doing well.
Well, all things considered, okay. How about you?
All things considered, I'm okay. Did you want to stop by a specific portion of the zoo first? The reptile house, um, the ape and primate exhibits, or
Well,
did you
I
want to just kind of take a
think
tour?
I don't know if we have time for a full tour, Doctor, but since you want to make an event with the primates, I think that going to the primates would be uh, the priority here. I brought some equipment and I can do some sketches. I
Of
have to
course.
tell you, however, that the basic planning of the event will be done by Dr. Green. I'm not going to be taking credit for this one, considering the my current circumstances.
I understand. Well, that's understandable. Oh, I ran into Dr. Fletcher. I gave him Dr. Green's information. I understand she was looking for a consulting surgeon. So hopefully that will work itself out as well.
To be honest with you, I haven't spoken with Dr. Green for quite a while. I have made sure that she knows he's in charge of this project and she will do what's best.
I understand. Well, let's go ahead and go. Don't mind Queen. She's keeping me company tonight. And he will start walking, and the poodle will follow behind him.
Okay. Monique will follow.
By the way, it's not like a little poodle. It's like a medium-sized poodle, not kind of in between a miniature and a standard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like a small dog, but it's not a big dog either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as they walk, you'll see that the dog's just kind of keeping in pace with them, kind of looking back and forth. And when they get close to the reptile house, the dog will start looking a little longingly towards it, but then we'll start following. We'll start following again.
Mm.
So, how is? I ran into Francis the other night when we went on a little excursion. He looks like he's healed up fairly well.
That's good to hear. I haven't seen him since the dogs, since the train. Sorry, the train station.
You weren't injured, if I recall correctly, were you?
No, I was not. We were extremely lucky overall.
Yes, we.
I have seen Mr. Leveau, however, and he's recovering as well.
Who? Oh,
Ambroise.
Russ. Okay. Oh, good. I'm pleased. He put himself fairly into harm's way in that little instance. You two seem pretty close. It's not anything damaging, is it?
Oh, not really. I just he helped me. I don't know how much you recall from the night at the Elysium. You were in pretty bad shape, but he did offer me his jacket, and I pretty much replaced it and took the chance to assist him a little bit,
I
if
see. So it
that's
is.
what you'd call it.
Well, they say that the mark of a noble man is giving their jacket to somebody else. I'm afraid that when I try to think about that night, it just brings back unpleasant memories.
Yes,
From
it's understandable.
from what I understand, I was looking into the very dimension that Ishar's masters call home.
I wouldn't know. Honestly, all I know is that you were not very well when you came out of there.
Is the price that people pay for knowledge. As much as I know I should have left with the rest of you, I unfortunately have the instincts of someone who seeks information. And being that way, I felt that it was prudent for me to remain behind in order to gather as much information as possible to pass on. Unfortunately, that proved to be ineffective.
Well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
That's true. And we'll slowly come up on the primate house, and you'll see that there are. It's a little. It's fairly late, so you'll see that there's a male and female gorilla. They're curled up with each other, holding each other. It
Hmm.
doesn't look like typical primate behavior. It looks a little humanish. Um, you'll see Michael will walk over to them, and his demeanor will change. He'll hunch over a little bit more, and he'll start grunting, and the two of them will stand up, and they'll hunch over like gorillas and walk forward so that Minnie can get a good or a better look at them.
Well, is there a like something like a bench looking towards the
Oh,
enclosure?
oh yeah, all the enclosures have two benches facing in and two benches facing out.
Okay. So Monique will sit down and she will open her. It's not exactly a briefcase, it's more like an artist's case. And take
Or I
out
think I'm familiar with that. Yeah.
a sketching board and some color pastels. And of course, I'm gonna be using Auspex here because, it's dark and whatnot.
All right. Um, Michael
And
will.
I will actually make rolls for the sketches, see how they come up.
No problem. Michael will ask if they need to be in any specific poses or if there's anything that you want them to be doing.
Well, I suppose act natural is the best option here.
Uh, um, Michael will turn back to the two gorillas and will, and they'll start walking around, acting like gorillas. Michael will just kind of give a slight smile and he'll say, "These two are the pride of my current research. I've been working on establishing more common practices with them as far as slight behavioral modification using Skinner and Adler."
Hmm. So it's like you're training them in essence, right?
That is sort of my job, yes.
Wow,
What?
that was okay, but why? Oh, it's to fuck. Well, that one scrapped. I'll I'll do another try because
No
this.
problem. Just make sure that you copy and paste the roles into your blue booking, because I'm
Yeah,
sure Evan's
yeah,
going to want those.
yeah. I will do. I always do that. Don't worry. Okay, that's not a good start to the evening. That's for sure. I mean, well, well, three is okay. Well, actually, this isn't three because it's ten, so it's five. So okay, let's go get a good one. All right. Need to make notes of them as well. So this is the gorillas.
Yep.
One scrapped. Five. Successes. Well, assuming that some time is passing while this happens.
hmm
So, what are your thoughts about this whole fight uh, at the station, Doctor?
I'm afraid you'll have to be a bit more specific. There was a lot going on that night. Oh, what do you mean?
Well, some things are a bit unclear to me at the moment. I remember the things that happened within the train, uh, and I remember the Salubre blowing himself up pretty much. But well, I think something happened before that, but I had my memory wiped of this event. So I assume it's something I shouldn't know.
But you don't remember. Are you there? I think you froze, or I froze or something.
I well, I had many memories erased from a couple of days ago. One was during that time, and some more were of events that happened that day. I was meeting with the Tremere Primogen and asked her to do this for me so that I wouldn't be compromising anyone to the one I owe the boon.
I see. Well, what happened was quite simple. You're aware of Francis. He is fairly honorable and fairly much a warrior, correct?
Yes.
It finally worked. He was finally able to persuade him to stop, to not fight anymore. The only problem is that from what I've been told from Victor Hennessy, the seneschal, this particular person was never a member of the Sabbat to begin with. He was forcibly bloodbound to the bishop for an
Yeah,
extended period of time.
I imagined
For
as much.
for him, he could not stop. He had to be free, and so he freed himself the only way he could, with a implanted incendiary device. Fortunately, it took out the two Vosges.
A sad affair, to be sure. Not for the Vosd, for the Salubre.
He was a true warrior and a true honorable spirit.
At least it saved us from any further losses that day.
Indeed, it could have been so much worse.
Well, there's still a long ways to go.
My own clan suffered heavy losses, at least with Hennessy's strike team. But we were able to take the suburbs as well.
Well, I guess things will be determined at the docks then. How fast? I mean,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I assume they won't try the same trick with a mirror again, will they?
More than likely, yes. It is a. It depends. The way that they had that mirror set up was unusual. Maybe it's can be portable. But odds are good that it's a way to divert troops from one place to another.
But aren't the Tremere working towards preventing them from doing that?
The Tremere, before I left, were performing a ritual that would shut down certain, in their words, blood magic based abilities. However, there's not always enough information, and there may not even be enough similarities to where it's 100% effective.
So we can either expect another mirror, or how long would the ship take to reach us here?
The ship, from what we've been told, is on its way here from the Caribbean. It's made several stops and has picked up individuals that are, well, for some reason they were picking up one person at each stop, and those person was an 18-year-old female human with black hair, that was born on April 30th.
Okay, that's awfully specific.
The Tremere are working on that, of course, to figure out why the ritual is needed. Ishar is aware of the ritual, as he seemed to tell us, and is surprised at them using it. But we will see. Personally,
Let's hope we persevere, because I don't see how else this will go.
Right. There's too much going on and not enough time to fix it. I don't know what else to do.
That's a feeling I understand very well. Shall we continue on?
Of course. We'll go to the various monkeys next, so you can get a good look at them. They're not classified as apes, but they are classified as primates. So he'll lead you on to the monkey cages area, where different monkey species are grouped together into different different enclosures with all sorts of different things. These seem to be acting more like animals.
Well, yeah, I'd assume you'd work more with great apes than, monkeys.
Well, I work with them all. It's just that there are less similarities with these primates than there are with the great ape families.
Okay, so assuming there are, how many would you say different enclosures of smaller monkeys? Like 3?
Probably about 5. Capuchin standard monkeys some baboons, and
Okay.
gibbons.
Okay, so let's make the rolls for them. You can keep talking while I do that.
No problem.
Wow.
Bad or
What
good?
the? -1 success. That's like a
That's a
total
botch.
fudge. Like,
Did you get any successes? Like anything over the number?
nope.
That's a botch then.
Like, what's the point of having a dice pool of 8 if I'm not gonna get shit?
It's called Methuselah's curse. The more dice you have, the more it can go wrong.
Ah, okay. Well, at least uh, it's something that it will take more time because it's gonna be scrapped images pretty much.
Right.
I mean, I don't expect I would stab just because of a failure. Ah, fuck. Okay, let's try that again. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Bad.
1 success. So 1 mediocre. Sketch of the monkey. Okay, now we're talking.
Getting a little better.
5 successes.
There we go. Those
Actually,
capuchins look amazing.
6. Actually, 6. And I have another 4 rolls, 4 successful rolls, at least. Okay, 2. Not bad. Uh, okay, so yeah, we'll figure out what kind of monkeys they are afterwards. 3 more. 4. 2. And 5. Huh. Overall, okay, I'd say, with the monkeys. I don't know if you heard,
Hmm?
Doctor. You probably have. Um, there's a new Malkavian in town.
Oh, another new Malkavian.
Um, and well, it seems that he's a Diablerist.
Oh yes. Francis did warn me about this.
Yes.
Um, so did Dr. Fletcher, and so has a few others. I had a small informal social gathering here a couple nights ago for the benefit of people in town that were interested in learning about what happened. You know, people like Talbot who weren't able to go along on the mission, things like that. And they did
Mm.
mention this Diablerist, and that is distressing.
Yes. Imagine how it felt when I was the only one able to see it at first. I didn't. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't plan on outing him right then and there. I was planning on going to Francis afterwards, but then Sketcher took a look and well, he wasn't very uh composed, I would say, understandably so. But at least that was resolved.
I'm surprised he's alive though. That's from what I understand of our illustrious prince, Diablerie is well.
Well,
Anybody that's a known Diablerist is probably executed, but this guy's
I
been
don't
allowed to
think
survive.
I don't think it was out of mercy. He came from a city governed by a Tremere. I think it was more because he saw it as a failure of the Tremere to govern, as a testament to their failure, if anything.
If I were Primogen von Essen, I would be keeping a very close eye on this Malkavian.
Well, the Keeper of the Elysium is responsible for him at the moment. He became his accountee, so Mr. Rothschild will be uh, the person to talk to, I assume.
Of course, Keeper Rothschild, the one who can't even keep our social event places safe.
Well,
I'm
to be fair, I don't know what any of us could do against Ishar.
I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to I cannot remember. Your character is not Delano's Chowder, right?
Yes, she is.
Okay. I'm referring to your sire's lovely restaurant, which had been declared a safe haven, and the keeping of safe havens rests upon the Keeper of Elysium.
Well, you can see Monique really visibly distressed at the thought of that.
I apologize. I didn't mean to suggest that your sire was not capable of maintaining his own domain. Far from it. He is very
Oh,
capable in that regard. I am just saying that.
no, I didn't think that. Just the
Okay.
thought of this whole situation isn't easy on my
Pleasant.
mind, and it's very recent. I haven't really been able to process it.
I apologize. Did not mean to.
Uh, I don't even know how if the investigation has really started regarding this situation. I would really want to find out what happened.
I don't blame you in that regard. I would want to know as well. I know that if anything were to happen to this zoo, to my animals, there are very few that I could think of who would have the ability to stop anything like that from occurring. And them not acting in those regards would be distressing to me. I have done my best to make this a sanctuary, not only for the animals, but for those who come here to witness the wildlife. I have used my considerable influence in the regards of science and research to make sure that this place is able to host not just commonplace animals, but animals that have come from far away, to make sure their habitats are viable and safe, and to make sure that they can flourish here as well. Anyway,
Well,
we should.
this is a much larger place. It would be a lot harder to do anything. But again, I don't see how Mr. Rothschild could have prevented something like that.
The individual found at the scene of the destruction, do you know anything about them?
All I know is that it was not my sire, and that's what matters to me.
That is true. I doubt we could have suffered that kind of loss. I'm sorry, I'll rephrase that because I do have etiquette. It is my greatest wish that that kind of loss never occur. Those of those who have held not only age but power and distinction in our society have the greatest responsibilities, and those that are responsible to protect those people have even graver duties as well.
To me, it's a lot more personal.
Of course. I wasn't there when my sire was destroyed by the Sabbat. I wish I had, but my sire demanded that I be taken away by the current keeper of Elysium of New York at the time.
I see.
Regardless, I still felt when he died.
Well, I had a special attachment to the place as well.
Of course. I'm
It
sure that you.
was it was technically my home for the past 13 years.
Oh, I didn't know there were living quarters there.
No, wasn't living there, but
Oh, you.
most of my time was spent there. There was a work of mine on the walls. I practice on the piano there almost every night. Most of my fondest memories are from there.
Of course, I apologize. I should have known the attachment you would have to that place, the work that you would have done there, sketching while your sire worked on his magnificent meals.
In any case, perhaps we should move on and maybe we can change the subject to something perhaps less painful.
Of course, my apologies. Let's move on to the. Oh, we can take a look at the chimpanzees. They're quite fun to watch.
Oh yes.
He'll lead you to the chimpanzee
Sarcasms.
enclosure. Looks like it's feeding time for the chimpanzees as they are eating different types of fruits and nuts. He will motion to a bench for her to sit down at while she can work on. Have you had any inkling of what you're going to be doing during the next incursion?
Um, I assume I'll be doing what I'm told to do. I don't have that much. Not. I don't have any experience in that regard. Actually, my first time in such a situation was at the station.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily required that you participate in this if you do not wish to. I just was curious. I was curious why you went along in the first place, to be honest.
Well, there are many reasons why. One is to prepare because I want to be involved with taking down Ishar. Another one is, well, to put it simply, atonement.
So,
And there's also something else that I would like to test.
what exactly is it that you want to test? And I'm curious what you have to atone for.
Well, losing my Sarah's affection was my doing, and I try to do whatever I can to punish myself pretty much, if that's how you say it. um I have lots of work to do in general, but I think that this will be a, perhaps if I survive it, a good exercise and experience so I can be more useful with the red lister.
I see.
I don't see any better way for me to try and free myself from Lord Stalheim.
You know, have you heard of the situation in which the Archon was assaulted?
I know some of the things.
Lord Ishar was there when it happened. He offered to remove the Archon and anybody else in exchange for a life boon. This Lord Stalheim, who is supposedly an upstanding member of the Camarilla, attempted to extract a boon from a unconscious Toreador elder.
What, Alucard? I'm confused. Are we talking about Aishar or Stalheim now?
Sorry, I meant anytime I was mentioning, I would say Stalheim.
Okay.
We were assaulted by humans who blew up her car as she was attempting to leave.
I'm
These
aware of that
humans,
event. I didn't know that Lord Stalheim was there.
he was in attendance, and he attempted to extort life boons out of everybody who was there, including an unconscious Toreador Archon. When Madame Guy, her illustriousness of the Justicariat of Clan Toreador, was in town, I unfortunately was too focused on my work to have let her know of Stalheim's actions. I'm hopeful somebody else did, because there were plenty else there that would have seen what was going on. Do you know who it was that saved the Archon?
Yes, I do.
Would you tell me?
To be honest, I'm not sure if I should or not.
If you're going to say Francis, that is a appropriate answer, but it's unfortunately incorrect. For we were all pinned down by the people that were going to firebomb the whole place. Who saved us was Clan Nosferatu.
Hmm.
It was through a quick text message to my elder, Seneschal Hennessy, that got him to respond in due time and with due force to the humans that were invading us. I wasn't able to do much else though, because they had found a compound that they were able to fill the area with that would have revealed myself to them, even using my means of obfuscation.
Hmm.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. I have the ability to not only hide my presence from people's perceptions, but also from technological means of detection as well. This compound removed that edge. So I was stuck outside with a bunch of humans with all sorts of weaponry, unable to do anything, not even move, for fear I would have given myself away.
Hmm.
And Hennessy showed up with Abdal and the others and promptly put them all into the ground.
Well, I guess I did not know the full story then. To be fair, I knew only snippets of it.
From what I understand, Francis Beaumont did protect the body of the Archon with as much power as he had. And they did keep her safe when the humans went inside.
Yes, that's the extent of the things I knew about the event.
If there is anything that I've learned so far about the Tremere, is that there are those that we can trust and those we can't. And when it comes to Stalheim, you can trust him to be Stalheim.
I don't think I fully trust any Tremere, to be honest. But the one I trust somewhat is is Katya, pretty much.
I would say that Mistina Summers has earned a little bit of trust from me in the same vein as Katya has. The others I'm still waiting on.
I do not know her. The first I saw of her was at the raid, and that was not enough for me to determine anything.
Well, I do know that I attempted to tell her to use the device and she refused. And given what happened, using the device would have been the wrong call. So I trust that judgment.
Do you know what that device would do?
According to Ashar, the device would render blood sorcery in the area ineffective. It would have disabled the mirror before it would have become a problem. But we ended up having somebody that took it out anyway. Other than that, I don't know what it could have done. But I do know that trusting Ashar on anything is wrong.
I get the feeling that there is something about this mirror that I'm forgetting. Hmm. Would you? I think that you probably should know, but I cannot recall. Could you please speak with Katya about it? I know that there was something about the mirror that happened afterwards when I was visiting Ambroise, but I can't recall exactly what it is.
I can tell you what it was because I was there for it. Ishar showed up and took a piece of it and vanished before anybody could respond.
Well, you shouldn't have told me that, probably.
Is it something that would be problematic for you?
Well, if Stalheim asks me, I will have to tell him.
It wasn't Stahlheim's mirror, if that helps. It was the bishop's.
Yes, yeah, but still, I don't know what I should know and what I shouldn't know, what would be compromising to other people and what not. I do not want to jeopardize my loyalties.
I see. Well, I unfortunately do not have the ability to remove memories, so you may need to pay Katya a visit.
Well, technically, it's not that I remember it, it's something that you told me, so the memory is still not there.
I
Even
see.
if he tries to pry it out, it won't be there.
I see. Well, I would like to see him try to do this sort of thing with me, as it would violate so many tenets of Camarilla law that could probably justify having somebody come get him, like, say, his sire, whom I had the unfortunate habit of meeting.
Hmm.
I don't
Well,
know if you've met Mirlinda.
no, but the things I've heard are not the most positive ones. In any case, well, I'd rather not speak about Lord Stalheim because it brings me really unpleasant feelings and it probably brings others unpleasant feelings as well. And unless he's already aware that he's disliked, I'd rather not be the messenger. And I'd rather not have too many mind wiping sessions with Mrs. Von Essen.
Of course.
So let us move on.
Of course. That should take care of the primates. How about we go to the otter exhibit? Of course. Why didn't I think of it sooner? I've been trying to get more attention on the Arctic otters. Follow me, and he'll start leading you away from the primate area with that poodle following right behind him,
Okay.
over towards the aquatic area, and he'll show you what looks like a elaborate stage. Um, it looks like kind of a river with a stage and things like that. And he'll walk over to somebody who's standing there, and he'll whisper to them. They'll nod and they'll go, and something will open, and you'll see 5 otters just slide out and start acting cute and otterish.
Well, these are certainly very, very cute animals.
It's one of the new attractions that I've been working on getting more focus on, if you can understand that. You don't see these very often outside of America, of course, but there are some that are native to Ireland, and bringing attention to them and potentially losing habitat was one of the main reasons why I wanted to get this going. So if you would like to sketch them at all, I would appreciate it.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, the rolling gods aren't very kind tonight.
It
Two
happens.
successes on the others.
I'm sure the
Maybe
otters
I should
should
do
sell
a second
themselves.
one and see how it goes, but just keep them separate instead of scrapping. Let's see. Again,
Yeah.
two successes. Well, it's
Well,
pretty
you know
dark.
what? You could always say otters should be able to sell themselves.
Yeah.
So, all right. Otters are done. Let's go to the let's see. We don't really have a good aquarium here. We've got the otters and we've got the dolphins, and that's about it. Do you want to go see the dolphin exhibit next?
Wow. Are dolphins awake at this hour?
No, they are actually asleep. That's true.
Well, then we'd better not disturb them.
I
Hmm.
s- that's right. We could go to the nocturnal animal exhibit. They aren't as cute, but they might be able to give you something to work with.
Yes, that would be a fantastic idea.
He will lead you over to the nocturnal exhibit. It's kind of a darkened area, but there are some like lights up that help to people to see what's going on. There's bats, there's different types of rodents, capybaras, things like that. Um, you'll notice that a small head has poked itself out of the shoulder of Michael's lab coat. It's one of the ferrets. He's this one's just looking around, curl around Michael's neck and start sniffing the air. The poodle will look up at him and be like, and kind of just like move its head back and forth, and the ferret will just shake its head and go back into Michael's pocket.
Interesting animal.
Oh, Kodo, don't mind her. She's okay. Queenie and Kodo get along fairly well. That's a good thing. Anyway, let's take a look and see the capybaras. The bats they're awake and they're feeding. He'll show you where there's some flying foxes that are being fed by some of the animal handlers. They look like big old fluffy puppies with wings, and they're
Yeah,
being
I
bottle
know.
fed. Yeah.
Hmm. What would you say would be the most representative animal in this exhibit?
Hmm. The bats are the ones that I would say are the most representative of the nocturnal animals. They're the ones that take on the most people think about them like that.
All right, then I will focus on the bats and pray to the rolling gods that they don't fail me again. They failed me. They failed me hard.
It's really dark there, so you know what? I think you've got enough. I think that we can find some stock photos that might work better than trying to do these
Well,
at
I
night.
expect Dr. Green will also do her own work, and I would really be satisfied if Sketcher took part in it as well.
Of course, I'm.
He's a very talented artist. Unfortunately, I haven't had the chance to speak with him much, and I won't have it. Um, the center cell doesn't allow him to speak with me. Um,
Hmm, I wonder why. I wasn't told that.
well, because of the events that happened at the auction in regards to my sire.
I see. I wasn't privy to what happened at the auction, mostly because I didn't. For one thing, I don't have anything of interest to barter with, and for another, I don't have much interest in anything that was being put on auction. From what I understand, there was a lot of issues going on that night.
Well, I guess then it would be best if you heard it from me. Although it's not an easy subject for me.
I see. If it's not easy, perhaps we should leave it as.
Well, it's no secret, and it's no secret to anyone who was there or otherwise. And I've already been publicly humiliated about it, even by the prince himself. So,
Hmm,
well, going in, I was not aware that anyone else was interested in a specific piece that I wanted painting. Um, and I had some sort of a deal worked out with the sheriff in acquiring it. However, when we were there, it was made clear to me that that couldn't happen due to a boon that was called. So I panicked and acted really selfishly and stupidly. And I made a bid consisting of my pre embrace memories of my sire.
I see. I'm guessing this has to do with Rumpelstiltskin.
Yes. Of course, my sire doesn't speak to me anymore, doesn't want to see me. And getting those memories back is what costed me this life boon to Stalheim.
I see.
I never expected things would go so bad. I didn't expect that there were beings this evil, honestly.
You will find yourself often surprised by the evil that permeates this world, not just with our kind, but
Yes,
with others. This is
I
why. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I can tell you, doctor, that I will not be attending any more such events. What I saw in there was more than enough to put me off forever. And the things that were placed as bids, um, and it caused me, well, it utterly destroyed my reputation. I've lost any amount of status that I had, and most importantly, I've lost my sire over it.
It's often been my impression that when you are passionate about something, it brings out the worst and best in you at the same time. What I will also say, though, is that some things can fade over time. Perhaps you will be able to get some help with it. Maybe, maybe close some,
It
maybe
will
rebuild some
take
bridges.
it will take a lot of work, but even if I earn my sire's forgiveness, I still owe a life boon to Stalheim, and that will be so nobody from my clan can have any confidence in me as long as this is,
Over your head.
yeah, and getting rid of it or bargaining it down won't be easy. I wish I knew how to negotiate better back there, but
It's when it comes to matters of prestation like this, few are prepared to deal with it, especially in the vein of a life boon. More often, a life boon will end in one specific way: the death of the ower.
oh, believe me, he already tried to cash it in.
He tried to kill you.
Not directly. He tried to blackmail. Um, well, I don't know all the details. I know that he threatened to turn me into a gargoyle for that vial, but as you see, it did not come to pass.
Wait a minute. You're telling
So
me that Stalheim threatened to transform you into a gargoyle?
that's what I was told.
From what I've been led to understand, you're of the improper blood to be transformed in such a manner. However, that is a violation of a standing Camriel law that states that the ritual to create a gargoyle is no longer to be used.
Well, if it comes up, you haven't heard it from me, so if you're interested in pursuing this avenue, which I would very much appreciate, you can get information regarding the events from either the Primogen of the Tremere or from Francis. I I'm not sure who else was there at the time, but this is what I was told. I don't know.
It will
I,
take some
I don't
further
know if
investigation.
I don't know if that would help me in any way. Um,
Well, to tell you the truth, there is enough in this going on in this city right now that if any of it were to get out to the Camarilla populace at large, we would probably be wiped out.
um, I was not aware of that.
Are you aware that dealing with anybody or making anybody known of our existence, regardless, not just the mortal populations, but mages, werewolves, fae, that's all considered to be a breach of the masquerade?
Hmm. So all of us who went to the auction are pretty much in violation.
Any of you that have either told or have exhibited your presence as a vampire to the world, to these people, have breached the masquerade. Yes. Another of the reasons why when I heard about this thing going on, I became very, very nervous. And to make
Well,
matters worse, the
hindsight, I wish I had consulted you.
few people ever seek my input unless it has to do with scientific matters. And then I find out just the other day that the Sabbat have openly involved human agents in their issues in Waterford. The weapons, the Semtex they got, um, are from a human by the name of Lord Saisho, who leads a cartel of the Ebon Dragon Yakuza.
Yes, I am aware of his existence. I
The
saw
only
him at the
problem
auction.
is that this Saisho was not approached by anything that could be explained away as a normal person. He was approached by a member of my clan's Antitribu
Okay.
openly. So the Sabbat have broken one of our most fundamental laws, and
Well, the Sabbat don't follow the same laws, though, do they?
they do practice a variation on the masquerade that doesn't necessarily cover the same bases, but at least would help minimize the presence of hunters in the area, which they have obviously failed to do.
Well, we need to wipe them out.
Yes, and unfortunately, they're sitting on enough explosives to knock Waterford into the water, literally. I met this
Yes.
individual. He knows more about us than he even lets on. It wouldn't surprise me if he was some form of supernatural, especially given the fact that he was probably the most inhumane human I've ever seen in my life.
Who would that be?
Saisho.
Oh, well, I did see him at the auction, but I did not really look at him.
You were best not to do that then, because I attempted to appeal to his humanity to find out he has none. Matter of fact, the fact that I
Well,
value nature and human life disgusted him.
I could have looked at his aura. It would tell me some things, but at the time, I didn't think it mattered.
You're probably right. The time, the truth be told, you becoming involved in that sort of thing would have been inadvisable, to say the least. He is he's a creature I prefer not to focus on anymore unless it becomes necessary.
Well, if he's helping the Sabbat with explosives, because that's what I heard, like Emily told me as well,
He
that
has a contract with them to
mm,
supply them weaponry.
did you learn
Regardless,
anything more about the explosives then from the person you captured?
unfortunately, I've not been privy to that line of questioning.
Well, sometimes the less we know would be the best.
He'll actually start laughing at that. My apologies. I did not mean to be rude.
No, it's okay.
Some people have knowledge and some people wish they didn't have knowledge. It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, depends on the kind of knowledge, I assume.
All knowledge is dangerous depending upon how it's used.
That's an interesting perspective.
There was a time when I would value the free exchange of information as a blessing upon the world. Now I'm not so sure.
Well, there are things that if I knew them might put me in danger, and there are things that if I knew might put others in danger, uh, with the current circumstances at least. So I think I will stick with that position.
It's a good position to have. Um, let's see. What else could I show you tonight? Oh, there are certain species of big cat that are active at night. Would you like to go take a look?
Yeah, let's let's see.
He was going to lead you over to the um, big cat sanctuary, and he'll take you to where the panthers and the pumas are. Um,
Black Panthers.
yeah, and you'll basically see like basically luminescent, not luminescent, but luminous eyes because of how light reflects off of cat eyes in the dark.
Yeah,
And
but
cat squirrels,
I have the heightened senses, so I can pretty much see them like
yeah,
normally.
yeah. But you'll see them basically lounging around in the trees or walking around. Some of them are being fed meat, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, the panther is a bit too dark to capture, but I can try with the puma if it would let me. Oh, wow! Really? Okay. Okay.
So you got the pumas perfectly.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, I think I shouldn't take much of your time.
Of course.
It's getting a bit late. Um, I will finish the sketches and I'm going to forward them to Dr. Green. If you don't have her contacts, I will write it down for you so you can contact her as well.
Oh, I was giving her contact information. Um, Another, not a clanmate, but a friend of his, a friend of hers, another kindred, passed on the information to me to pass on to Doctor Fletcher, and so on and so forth. So you know how chain of custody of contact information tends to go. It tends to get all over the place.
Yes, indeed.
Uh,
um,
um,
yes, and
oh,
you can talk to your own clanmate Sketcher if he wants to
I
join.
will.
Yes,
I know that he's been busy, especially with what's been going on lately with Waterford. But if he wants to put in some time toward it, I would definitely appreciate it. Oh, he's going to he's going to reach his hand into his jacket, and he's going to um, take out Kodo and set Kodo on the ground. Kodo will help you get back to the main entrance. I need to go back to my office for something.
Okay. Thank you for receiving me, Dr. Brightman. It was
Mm.
a
I
really
will say
time well
that,
spent.
to be honest, Monique, if not for your thoughts on this project might not even have happened. So you're the one to be thanked in this regard. I hope you're aware of that.
Well, not officially.
I know, but you should be given credit where it's due, even if it's not official.
What matters is for the work to be done, and what I want ultimately is for better relations between our clans. If that's one step forward, I really don't care about any credit.
Well, you have definitely done your part for that. I can assure you of that.
Um, but I think it's best if it's kept out of the seneschal's knowledge. I don't think he really likes me, so. But he does like Dr. Green, so that's why she will be in charge of that and take full credit for it. I guess sometimes even Toreadors want to work from the shadows.
It's an unusual, but it has happened before. But I will make sure that if the Seneschal finds out anything about this, that it only reflects the actions of Dr. Green and not yourself, as you wish.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And have a nice evening, Doctor.
You as well. And he will turn and leave, and Kodo will look up at you expectantly.
And I will follow the ferret.
Ferret will lead you out, and then will you can tell she doesn't like being around you, but she's tolerating your presence. However, when you leave, she will stand up on her haunches and wave at you, and then rush back off to the office.
That's cute.
All right. And that will end this. So thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. It's been another edition of Darkness Double and Vampire Edition. Have a pleasant evening.